Whoa, what's up? It's your girl G.I. Peachez, aka the Project Barbie, or simply the Cutthroat Diva, Soulja Slim Sister. We holding it down. You are now watching Nolazine.
This episode is brought to you by the Loyalty Club, one of the hottest brands out, where they keep their items limited and only for the loyal few. Check us out online at theloyaltyclub.us, or if you're in New Orleans area, you can check us out at our flagship store, 841 Fulton Street. You already know what time it is. Only for the loyal few, club ties.
Okay, so you know, if the internet been seeing you heat up, being very controversial. I interviewed you in some years, so I was like, I don't know what Peachez is on. But you know, we always had a good relationship. Way before I even started doing this, like I knew you for a very long time.
We knew each other for a long time.
Like I was even like if you even brought me, like probably 10 years ago for Zulu Ball.
Oh yeah, we let you come and eat at our table. Yeah.
Your mom like, who this little greedy boy is? But I was like, it's some good ass food right here.
They got the good food.
So you know, but like a lot has transpired in these few years.
Yes,
you
yes.
People,
the internet, wow.
You know, people like using your brother's name, you know, but not, you know, paying like a proper respect to your family as deserved.
Right.
Like, you know, people making up stories
all the time.
Like, as you said. So like, how do you feel about all this?
So everybody know, and they always say like I'm a no bullshit person when it comes to my brother. Some people will say I'm a bit overbearing. Some people will say that it's a bit much. But at the end of the day, I feel like none of these people held my brother down. Like for years, my brother was under the wraps. They were allowing people to not, you know, give him the proper respect that he was due. They was not telling his story, telling who he was to the world. And I just felt like they just dust him under the rug. They didn't really fuck with him. Everybody gonna always fuck with him musically. But I felt like he is such a great part of New Orleans history. He is New Orleans hip hop. And I just felt like people weren't giving him the proper respect or the due respect that he was supposed to do. They get online and tell these stories about him doing this, that he robbed somebody. That's how they met them. That's a lie. They get online and just tell any type of story if it's bad, but never tell the good stories about who my brother really was as a person if you knew him personally. So I always tell them, when it come to my brother, do not play with my brother. You play with my brother, I'm the first to come for you. Everybody else gonna chill, but I'm coming for you.
Right. You know, people just paint this. They would paint so many pictures of Soulja Slim, and like I even saw online somebody try to actually, compare King Von to Soulja Slim.
Right.
I was like,
and that's just two different generations.
You know, that's two different times and two different places.
Yeah, two different places. Living like it's a homage. I look at it as a homage, but then I look at it as you try to like undermine his success as well. So that's why I always make sure I try to bring to the forefront who he really was as a person, the people's lives that he changed. I mean, after it all, my brother was really an entrepreneur, and he was also like a business and a family man. And I don't think people realize that. They just look at people when they get to a certain level as a name, as a brand. They don't look at them as somebody's family, somebody's loved one. And that's where the disrespect starts to transcend.
Gotcha. So, you know, and from TV shows and everything, so people might think you have like a hard up real beef with Master P. So like, you know, I want you to like kind of clear the narrative, like clear this narrative, because you know people gonna, the media gonna paint it a certain kind of way.
Right.
So I want you to speak from your heart how you really feel about the whole situation.
I don't really have a problem with Master P. I feel like for me, karma always comes around in its due time. So I really don't have a problem with Master P. I would never undermine what he's done for New Orleans hip-hop as a whole and his contributions to the hip-hop scene. That is something that's going to always be in the top of my books, because I wouldn't be an artist if there was no limit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have a beef with Master P. A lot of people wanted me to talk when his daughter died. They wanted me to be negative about it. And I'm like, I'm not that type of person. I don't feel it's goody for somebody when something happens to them. I don't feel like that is something that should be played with. Like, I don't do those type of things. My loved one was taken from us for things that, you know, we might not understand, that we might never understand. But I just feel like karma comes in due time, and whatever's for somebody, they will get. And I feel like he's getting what's for him. I just don't like that Master P tries to undermine his success, or try to block me for doing things for him. Like you gonna impede into the hip hop homicides. You don't never even talk about my brother. So what made you want to talk about get on hip hop homicides? So you could debunk the rumor that was said about you, and you could get on there and tell lies and say my brother was a drug head and this, that, and the other. My brother never did drugs when he was on No Limit. When my brother was on No Limit, my brother was clean. Before that, when he made them songs like Powder Bag, y'all knew those. The fans knew that era. They know my brother at that time. But when he got on No Limit, that's when he got serious about his career, and he didn't want to do drugs anymore. He had been in jail, so he was clean. The story that they met through a robbery, that's a lie. They met through Mac and KLC. Like, they introduced him because he was on Down South Hustlers. So I just don't understand. It just paints a narrative that you just want to paint him to be a negative person if you have no type of harsh feelings and no type of harsh reality for him. That's how it looks when you look at things. Like, I don't have a problem, but just stop trying to stop me from making sure he gets what he's supposed to get.
Right, so I have this question, like, do you think if Master P ever reach out to you, are you like willing to actually have one sit down with him?
No, I don't want to. It's certain character of people that I just would prefer to not deal with. Like,
so you fine with like just going through life without ever talking to him?
Well, I'm good. Like I said on the show, I don't need a kumbaya. I don't need to sit down. I don't need any of those things. Like, you've done what you've done for hip hop, and I respect that. And we could live in the same world. There's a whole world, and we can never meet each other, and I'm good with that.
So, you know, being Peachez, aka Miss Clapback, like, do you feel like it's gonna always be a point that you're gonna have to, like, you know, clap back if you see someone in there talking about your brother, or like people put kids on them and things like that?
One day I'm reaching, everybody tells me, I'm still not there yet, but everybody tells me that, you know, you can't fight every battle. And I'm starting to realize that. I can't fight every battle. I can't paint him as always the good guy. I can't make people see who he is. I just have to trust that if you know him, then you love him and you know him for who he is. So I'm learning not to be that way, but I'm still that way, and I still will get your ass together.
Right. The truth is, you know, everyone has different stories about everyone.
Exactly.
It ain't like people probably have different stories about you.
Exactly.
In different ways. But like, even like, you know, like, and with my cousin Jig, I told him, like, you know, I think it's time for y'all to stop telling those past stories.
And that's what it is for me. Like, I'm sick of when they tell the past stories, it's like we heard them all.
Right. And I can lie to you, he even admitted on his last interview, like, man, you know what, I'm off that because, you know, like a lot of people saying stuff now on these interviews and they going a little too far. Right.
And because they know that now you don't have to have a fact check. You don't have to have a picture. You don't have to have anything. You could just get online and say these things and build a buzz off people's name. Because, you know, I like to call it the Gangsta Williams era. Like, you could do that type of stuff. Like, you can get online and say those things. And like I said, I'm still learning how to deal with people not seeing somebody that I love as great as they am. Like, my mom always tell me, you think your brother is the Alpha Omega, and I'd be like, yeah.
But you both see him that way.
Yeah, I see him that way. Like, because I feel like he is a great artist. I feel like he died for what he believed in, and I love my brother, and the world love my brother, and I just want them to love him, not because of he a gangster, but to love him because he's a person. He's a father, he's a brother, he's a son.
Right. And I remember when, you know, maybe like when you first started really clapping back for your brother, and I saw a comment, and I was like, I wonder if she saw it. I never want to hit you up and ask you this, like, but somebody comment, like, you know, they're like, man, maybe she don't really know her brother because she was a young age when he was doing all these things. So I want you to kind of like address that, like, because, you know, people saw you on pictures and you was very young on a picture with him. They never saw you as a teenager or a little adult with some, so they're like, you might don't really know your brother, like, for the street side of him.
Right. And nobody ever knows the whole 100% picture of somebody. But I know my brother for who he was and who he was with me and who he was with my family. And who, I'm not saying that he wouldn't slap the piss out you. Or I'm not saying he would not clip somebody or knock somebody off. I'm just saying when you telling stories, don't forget the other stories too, because he's not just that person. He's an overall 360 person that carries, oh, fuck, I might slap somebody. But that's just what it is. Everybody has, I'm not saying he's the perfect person. And I know sometimes they feel like I paint him as roses and daisies, but I don't feel like that's my brother, because I know stories about my brother slapping people and, you know, doing things to people. It's just that the stories that they tell on the internet is just redundant. It's just redundant, and it's just, at this point it's getting out of control because people just telling any type of stories at this point. Like the Magnolia stories just got the motherfucking stop. Like just cut them off.
Right. And I was just like, and like on the Magnolia and like the Cali and all those stories, I'd be like, man, you know what? I feel like I don't feel a need to actually keep pushing that narrative because I'm not from either one of them.
Exactly.
For me, I can't tell you about everybody else, but for me, I won't continue pushing those stories. But the thing is, I hear the funniest story because people like, you know, Slim had this facial expression. So when I hear these stories, I'm like, I remember your mama looking at me kind of crazy.
Yeah, you get a lot of.
I'm like, your mama kind of got that picture. Like,
they don't know that.
He probably didn't mean that.
No, like my brother and my mama, we are really, really similar to my mama. Like both of us. Like we are really. My mama is short tempered too, but my mama is just like my mama plays the background. Like my mama not really. Yeah, we going with it, we going with it. Like we say something, she going with it. That's our mama. She back us up to the fullest extent. So my mama be with the shits too. It's just that my mama just not on the internet.
Right. And like in public, your mama's like the happiest person.
And she, you know what?
Like I never saw that lady not smiling.
Yeah,
like,
but if you get on her bad side, like my mama she's a fire pit, man. My mama's a fire pit. She different. But a lot of people say that though. But when my brother died, I was actually 16 years old. I wasn't a kid. Like they painted these pictures on. They painted this picture on the interview that when my brother died, I was like 10 years old.
Because that's why I seen it. Yeah. They seen the pictures and like they never saw a picture of you a teen.
Right. Well, we were teens together. But when my brother died, I was at Xavier Prep. Like I was going to Xavier Prep. My brother used to drop me off at school at Xavier Prep.
So let's bring it back to that time. You know, you probably was on like Thanksgiving break. Yeah, but on that day, you got that, you know, that call or whatever happened. You know, like I don't know if you was at the house or nothing too. Like,
right.
like what happened on that day when you was 16 years old? When you found out on that your brother got killed.
So when we found out, my mom, they actually have a second line, the Lady Buck Jumpers. So their second line was gonna be like that next week. And somebody called on the phone, so we all sitting in the house. We was talking about, that's when he had just made the video for Love Me, Love Me Not. So my mom had seen the video. He had just showed her the video. And she was telling us about the video when we got the phone call that he'd been shot. So they sent me and my cousin to go over there because, of course, my mama, at this time, she's frantic. She's nervous. They're not really saying if he alive or not, he dead or not. But she's frantic, so we didn't let her go. So me and my cousin went, and I remember clearly when we got there, he was laying across the ground in front of the house, across the porch, but he wasn't moving. So I'm like, why is he not moving? And that's when my stepdad came over and was like, he's gone. And at that point, all I could think about was my mama. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, my mama is not like. For my mother, my mama had my brother when she was 18 years old, like straight out of high school. She had him when she was in high school. So they'd been together for so long. I didn't come into the picture until he was like 13, 14 years old. So they had a relationship that was like, that's why when people say certain things, like their relationship was like to where my mama knew a lot of things about him. He always been who he was with my mama. Like when he made Cutthroat Committee on paper, my mama name on there. He made sure she had part of it. When anything he did, my mama was a large part of that because of the years they grown up together, really. And so my mama, when we finally went back to tell her, like I remember this clearly, and it's like my mama just dropped down to the ground, and that was like ever since then my mama been a different person. So that's why I tell people, like, if it don't usually be me that's going off for me, it's going off for my mama, because people don't respect that. My mama, this her son. My mama love her son. Like my mama think the world of her son, and y'all just get online and y'all just, people don't care. And like BG said, and we talked to BG since he been home, like the internet is undefeated. Like you can't beat the internet. They gonna say what they want to say, and you gotta just be able to have thick skin and take it.
It was like not getting off subject, but like how you felt when like you saw the internet, like, you know, like it was like less than 1 week if they went from praising BG to like making memes about him. Like how did you feel about that?
The internet. That's all you can ever say is the internet. Like the internet has elevated to a place where, like I said, you don't have to have pictures. You could just tell any story in the world. Like people don't want to see. It's mostly for negativity. Like why you couldn't talk about the good things? Like this man ain't telling on nobody. He did his time. Like he sat there and did time 12 years, and y'all criticize him for how he looked. Fuck, I don't look like I look when he went to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy the things that people focus on when it comes to the internet. So it's like you can't, like, I don't read comments at all because they always negative. Like they the things that they say, the way that they feel. Like, oh, if I know her brother embarrassed about her, embarrassed for what? I roll for my brother, and I wish that if something happened to me, I know he would be the same way. Like, I love my brother.
Right.
People wish they had a sister that when they was gone, take care of their business and make sure their business is handled. And that's why I don't respect nobody, because before I got to the age where I could do shit, they ain't never did shit. They ain't never tried to help my mama. They ain't never tried to give my brother paperwork.
You
right.
Still in high school.
Still in high school, like in college. Y'all, like, nobody wanted to help them. So now everybody got a story and everybody want to be Soulja Slim this and Soulja Slim that. Where the fuck y'all was at when Soulja Slim was in jail and my mama was working a job at a hotel, not even a 9-to-5, making pieces of change and had to send him money.
Yeah, but they don't tell that story.
They'll never tell that story though. I'm Soulja Slim best friend. Well, where you wasn't his best friend when he was in jail. When you pushing these people to tell these lies and stuff, you wasn't where y'all was at. None of y'all was there. Like, my mama was doing all that. Y'all didn't do any of that, and now I'm doing shit. Y'all didn't do none of that.
So that was my next question, to bring it fully back. Like, how was the process like, after, because like everybody there for you for that second line, everybody saw that big second line.
Right.
So how many people like donated, and like how was the process of you? Like, you know what, I gotta step up. I'm like nephew. So
Anthony Murray was around a lot. I remember Anthony Murray was around a lot because that was his manager at that time. BG was around a lot. We got to see a lot of BG during that time. BG helped with a lot of things. But it was at that point, like I always tell people, I've never got to grieve for the loss of my brother, because at that moment I knew I had to be stronger for my mama. Like I said, that was my mama pride of joy. So like after the funeral, nobody really thinks about how people cope or how people deal. Like, people just go back to they 365 days a year. Like, we used to have to go find my mama. Like, my mama would be in a truck somewhere, be somewhere, and we couldn't find her, crying. Like, and it was a point in my life where I was just like, I did not like my mama, because that wasn't my mama. Like, I just wanted her to be regular. Like, I just wanted her to be, I was still here, paid me some attention. But really, in reality, I've grown to respect that. I'm glad I ran across a journal that my mama had, and that's what made me forgive her and really, really, really love my mama again, for who she was at that point. And she was like, hey, I'm only here, God, I'm really only here for my daughter. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't feel like I want to be here at all. And it was that moment that really rekindled that thing for me and let me know that this woman was going through something, and I was the person that was going to have to bring her back out of what she was going through.
A beautiful reason she was still there.
That she was still there. She was still pushing because of me, because there was nothing else that she felt like she wanted to be.
I ain't gonna cut you off, but I just interviewed Derek mama, and she went through the same thing.
Yes. She
said on the interview, she said, man, but that night she just wanted to go too. But that was the same night she was taking her younger son trick or treat. And she said, looking at him made her still want to be here. But she didn't want to be here.
She didn't want to be. They don't want to be here. And a lot of times, because of the life that these people lived, people don't think about those type of things. Like, people don't think about how they feel. Or even in the community, we don't have enough of programs to really put back into these people. Like, the only people that brought my mama back to me was Daryl Bishop Church. She used to go there, and they had like a grievance center. And my mama got in that. And that's who brought my mama back to us. Because my mama was... She was like, my mama was like a zombie. Like, my mama would just cry all day. My mama didn't want to do anything. Christmas time had came around. She bought me stuff, but it was a disconnection. Like, it was a disconnection for a long time. And I just think we in the community, like, they should have that now, since we seeing so many murders, and we seeing, if we can't fix the gun control problem, then we have to follow up with something the next best, and we got to get things in these North centers for these people to go to. Like, a lot of parents are losing their kids at alarming rates at younger ages. Like, and they have other kids that they have to tend to. And little Derek mama, my mama only had one child, but think about the people that have 4 to 5 other kids. Like,
I don't have no kids.
Or no kids at all. You know what I'm saying?
And like, go all the way down. And go all the way down.
We got to get them help.
And I'm about to speak on them. Like, New Orleans, like, it don't matter what they say about other cities, but like, other cities don't maneuver like New Orleans. So
right.
What I mean by like that, like, I told my mama one day, I said, man, I think I normalized death at a young age. Like, when people get killed, like, it shocks me when somebody dies for something normal.
Right.
Like, you died from a heart attack? Like, you so
I know he got killed. Right.
Yeah, like,
if I see a post, like, it's so bad that if I see, like, if you post a picture, I be like, I got to read the caption because I'm like, is this person dead? Like, we that traumatized as people that you just don't know.
A true funny story. They had this bar on Claiborne called Association, and like Young Greatest took a picture at the same thing, and one day I took a picture, like by the wings.
Right.
I posted a picture of me by the wings. People thought I was dead.
I
said, goddamn.
That's how traumatized that we are. Like, and it's like you said, it's normalized now, so we just sit online and be like, goddamn.
But it's crazy. People only post people for happy birthdays and that.
That's it.
And like, you know, and I also, you know, I would speak on like just the killing and the death. Like when I see New Orleans, it's different because I speak on this a lot. Like New Orleans probably the only place that's this close where we know the killer and the victim, and we just move along like it's nothing.
Right.
Like we really know the killer and the victim, and we just don't say nothing. Like, it is what it is.
It is.
Like either you gonna do something or shut up. And like
most of the time, it's just better to condition to shut up.
Then we celebrate.
Right.
Like other people don't celebrate like we do. We celebrate that. But the thing is, that's why I said about, you know, your brother. We saw this big second line. At YouTube, everywhere I see this big second line, but people don't know your mama's story. Like they don't know how your mama felt every time everybody posting your brother happy birthday.
Right.
Like did anybody go to her house and check on her, bring her flowers, or like for her birthday, you don't know how Slim treated his mama. So you don't know what he used to do on that day to like help his mama, you know, remember that her son. So like if you wasn't there, you don't really know. So people only speak on these stories, but they don't actually do what they need to do to actually, you know, check on the mom.
I would say all the time, if somebody friend and your friend passes, or you know, check on the parents. Like a lot of times we get self-centered about our relationships with people, and the people who are suffering at the other end is the people that carry these people in their womb. Like you gotta think about it. That's a whole different type of bind to carry somebody in your womb. Like you watch them take their first steps, and then they took their last breath before you.
Or like if someone actually, or like even a baby mom on the way.
Right.
That person slept on side of the every like day. That house never gonna be that house again. Like it don't matter if another dude that they still remember this thing that person did.
Yep. It's definitely difficult, and even at 33, like I'm still, you know, anger is my coping mechanism, one would say. I'm still, you know, trying to deal with that. Like, but life goes on. And
I was going to ask somebody this question. I never asked somebody because, like, I never experienced this, like, you know, because my brother's still living, like, what do you be your reaction when you see your brother on a shirt?
I'm pretty good with the whole shirt thing.
And I know you grew into it. I'm talking about
like in the beginning, it was very difficult. Because, like I said, me and my brother, I'm way under him, so I'm really like his little sister. So it's like, you know, our bonding is a different type of bond. Like, we bonded when he was in jail and things of that nature. Like, just talking over the phone, and he'll ask me about school. Like, my brother was proud when I started going to Xavier Prep, because he was like, I wasn't going to be one of those like them other girls. And just those type of things, like, those type of things kept me motivated to keep going in life. Like, that's why I still do what I do till this day. Like, from high school to college, finish college, and then going into the real world. Like, my thing is to make my brother proud. And I know that I make my brother proud every day, because I'm not one of those.
Gotcha. So, I would ask you a question, but we kind of got off the subject, so we never, like, got to that point. But I asked you, you know, how was the process of, after, you know, the funeral and the second line, the process of now, you know, that my brother's gone, I got to help raise his son.
Right. Okay. So my nephew is, we love my nephew. Like, I remember my nephew, when I was 4 years old, my nephew came into the world. So I was very, 18 at a younger age. We love my nephew, like everything about my nephew. Sometimes he get in a lot of trouble, and we still, like, my mama really took that role, and she would still buy him stuff and send it to him. When he graduated from, when he had his 16th birthday, we drove all the way to Mississippi to go to the party. Like, we were really, really active with him, because that's, you know, some people say a lot of things like that's not his child, but my brother was there from the beginning. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all we could do is go. We don't make those decisions. We go with what the person tells us. So a lot of people mad and saying we not claiming other people's kids and this, that, and the other. We go with what the person told us. You know what I'm saying? If the person told us that that's their child and they been there for that child,
he named him after.
You know what I'm saying? We have to go with that. Like, I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not angry at nobody. I'm angry when they start telling lies, because you telling lies and you talking about my mama and saying my mama don't know her baby daddy. I know my daddy. My daddy been in my life for I don't know how many years. People, my pastor know my damn daddy. Like, people know my daddy. My daddy been around. Like, my brother daddy. Everybody know if you live in Shrewsbury. Like,
I ain't like me knowing your mom, me and your mom being around your mom. She don't give me somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
And I just mess with Mark like that.
My mama still to this day, my mama been with the same man for about 30, 40 years now. Like, we know my daddy and we know my brother daddy, so I don't
and
really.
Your stepdaddy, I'm like, do something or something like
my
that.
My stepdad is used to play the tuba in the Rebirth Brass Band.
But he was something in the Zulu ball that time.
Yeah, he was the governor.
I remember being there. Like,
yeah.
I think he was somebody.
Yeah, he was the governor for 2018. Like, we know my mom been with that man for so long. My brother know him. Everybody know him. Like, since I was probably 4 years old.
He was your brother stepdaddy.
That's been our stepdad for life. Everybody who knows us, we go through three things. You're going to either be Linda's daughter, you're going to be Phil's daughter, you Soulja Slim sister. That's just been my life. Like, but it's just, we like I said, we love my nephew. My nephew got 3 daughters. We love them just the same. And like I said, we just honor what my brother, you know, asked us to honor. Like, we never been disrespectful. We never felt like, because he's like, they keep saying the light-skinned child, that don't have nothing to do with anything. Black people come in many different races. My daddy is light-skinned with green eyes. Like, black people come in many skin tones. That's like the dumbest shit when y'all say that on the internet, and I just feel like it's the stupidest shit to say in the world. Black people come in many skin tones. My daddy could be light, my mama could be, and I could come out dark skinned. Like, that don't have nothing to do with that at all.
I ain't lie to you. Like, personally, I think your level. Hey, shit, my daddy took a blood test on me because I ain't look nothing like my daddy.
See what I'm saying?
And my brother look like my daddy.
But
I look like my mom. It fucking the pictures down. I mean, to look like one of them.
Some you gotta look like somebody in your family. Like, you might look like your grandpa. You might look like your great grandpa.
Like neither one of them.
Neither one. You know, it's black people come in many. That's the beautiful thing about black. It comes in many different forms and formulas. Like, so, like I said, we went to his high school graduation. We drove all the way to Macomb. He was going to Macomb school. And we drove all the way out there to celebrate with him. We had a birthday party after. I love my nephew. Like, you can't tell me nothing about it. Just like my brother, you can't tell me nothing about my nephew.
And also, you know, like, hey, well, people don't give him credit. He became his own man. He put his own brand.
Yeah, and that's what, like, it don't have nothing to do with my brother.
And like, you know, but our last interview we did, he's like, basically, his biggest goal was to make it to the age his daddy made, and, like, you know, have something to show for
it, right?
And he felt like, you know, he felt like, man, shit. Hey, but I got more money than what my daddy had at that age. Right. He like, man, you know, and like, that was a goal of mine. And like, you know, and like, I think people need to give, you know, credit when it's due. But like, the thing is, I want to ask you this question, because, you know, this is, you know, because so many people look at it certain ways. Like, you know, me growing up, I would think that New Orleans, somebody had a bag for y'all. Right. Like, bag for you when you get at a certain age. Like, man, so it's like my brother. So, like, did you think like that coming out of, like, you know, like, when you jump in the music game, like, man, at the city automatically gonna just fuck with me, you know, somebody about to come with a bag or something? Like, how did you feel when you first became a music artist? When I first became a musician, I learned very quick that it don't matter who you can to. When I became a musician, it doesn't matter who you can to. You got it 10 times harder when you can to somebody. Because people feel like you getting handed stuff. So they're going to make you work harder. And that's kind of how it's been. Like, I had to work harder. It wasn't like they didn't like my music. They didn't like me. They didn't like this. Like, and then at one day I woke up, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go like he did. You got to set goals for yourself. So I started setting goals for myself. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to improve my skills, because that's always going to take you farther. If you good, you talented, that's going to always take you further. And I'm going to be consistent, because consistency is always key. And that's what it was. Like, and then, like, now I can sit here and I got like over 200,000 plays on the video on YouTube, and I could be like, I'm finally doing something with myself, and this late in fucking life. But it's just harder for you, because people feel like you got this, you got that. When really in reality, we ain't had shit. We came like the trenches, bitch. I was catching RTA to work at one time. I ain't lie to you. Like, me on the outside looking in, I've been around you, your family over 15 years probably by now, and I'm gonna say out my mouth that I think they gave y'all a harder time. Really? I think they gave y'all a harder time. They still do. Like, I think that nobody, you know, showed the proper
And with that, like, what is? I never understand it, because when we look at different forms of art, like movies, you got Ben Stiller, who came under his daddy. You got all these actors that come under their parents and their family. It's just look what's the lady name that played Pretty Woman? Julia Roberts. The little Emma Roberts is her niece. Like, it's never a problem in the white society, but in the black society, it's frowned upon if you come under somebody. It's not inspiration, it's you trying to be like them. When really in reality, all they did was set a path for you, and it should have been open for you to be able to take that path to keep their legacy going. It's not so much you wanting to be like them, it's you wanting the world to expose you to who they were and feeding it back to them.
But hey, but not even just, you know, talking about child, but I don't think New Orleans did that to everybody. Everybody's child who came up trying to be a music artist too, they give him a hard time.
And I don't, it's like a stigma. I don't know what's the stigma when you really should be proud and be like, man, they keeping a bloodline going.
That's like, you know, even BG kids, you'd think they'll be, you know, that's BG, like they finding things to like discredit them.
You gotta work harder.
And it's
New Orleans. Like, they'll rather stain your image than, you know, propel your image.
Right. But the crazy part is, if they talk this about the other cities, but I think if we were from Texas or Atlanta, they would have really like embraced y'all a little bit more.
I think so too.
New Orleans is a hard city.
It's a hard city to please. Like, you can't please New Orleans. Like, you just, like, that's why you just gotta
You can't tell me you could be Pimp C Child and Houston treat you bad.
I don't believe it either.
I can't see it. I can't see it either. But in New Orleans, you know like, that's like, you know, if I take it to another reason, if you Drew Brees' child, you probably never pay for food.
Right.
But you know, like, this world, you know, you Soulja Slim. Everybody knows you Soulja Slim since, like, by now, if a person knows you Soulja Slim since they're lying. When you go to places, they should at least be like, man, you know, look, man, you know, if this time I got you, bro. You know, pay homage, cause like, it's kind of weird to me, be like, man, I'm a big fan of you. Then you don't show me no type of love. You don't download my song. You don't subscribe to my channel.
That's different, but that's how it is. Like, you get to doors and they be like, well, what that's supposed to mean? Because they kill a Soulja Slim. Like, I remember I went to a club door and that's what the man said. And I had to get him together. Because I was like, I ain't asked you for shit. Like, I ain't asked you for nothing. Like, they telling you that. Like, that's why every time I go somewhere, I got my own money. Like, I've never asked nobody to do nothing for me for free. Because people always trying to feedback off of that. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? We don't owe nobody nothing. Bitch, y'all wouldn't even get the music y'all got if it wasn't for my brother. Like, y'all wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, but then they go home and they listen to Soulja Slim and they get a Soulja Slim shirt and they want to post it online. It's weird people in this world. It's fucking weirdos.
So, bro, you know, like, the whole bounce culture. Like, you know, like, how do you feel about, you know, because, you know, like, New Orleans kind of make it hard for being a bounce artist. Like, you know, if your brother even had to switch it up, switch the name and everything for being a bounce artist. So how do you feel about it? Because, you know, I actually just I just interviewed like maybe a year ago of a TT Tucker. And he still was talking about your brother. He like, man, you know, I remember trying to get Ghost Town and everything like that.
Yeah, my brother was like, a lot of people don't know that. My brother was like one of the first bounce artists. Like, he had one of the first bounce songs out. Like, he was really, like, he was in that field, but that wasn't what he wanted. But, you know, that's just New Orleans. Like, now it's a stigma if you do bounce music. I don't know when the transcend came to flip it. Like, if you do bounce music, it's correlated with homosexuality. I'm guessing that's the stigma with it. I'm not really sure.
Well, you know, if I interviewed Pete Town more, he actually mentioned your brother in his story. Like, basically, you know, in the early 90s when they first was like really rocking it out, they was doing it. Then, you know, then came Big Freed and them, and they put their twist to it, and like, you know, every New Orleans started perceiving it like it was that type of music, so they felt like they had to back off it for a little while.
I was about to say, it makes sense.
But, you know, like, once they did it, because, you know, because they did it their way, and like, you know, ain't no knock to them, but they, you know, they did it because originally, me growing up hearing bounce music, it was like pussy popping music.
That's, you know what I'm saying? That's what we loved. I remember we would come home from school and throw a DJ Jubilee just so everybody in the house could start dancing. Bounce used to be correlated with feel good. If you had a party and you want to feel good, they put on that. It's party. It's transcends. Like, you had the older women dancing, the younger children dancing. That was bounce music. I think once it started getting, like they said, once it started to switch to the ultra vulgarness, is I think when the line started to get crossed and started to get flip-flopped. Because at that point, now you gotta like shadow the kids from it. Like sometimes when I go to a DJ, like, and I see like the little 3-year-olds and it's like, how you eat that? And it's like, oh wow, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no.
But the truth is, but you know, kids been doing it. Dancing in diapers.
It's been around for a long time.
If you see it, you gonna do it.
You gonna do it, and that's what it is. It's been around for a long time. It's just that I think now it's just gotten ultra vulgar. Like it's got ultra vulgar, but it's still good music. Like it's still. I particularly in my older age like the R&B bounce more because that's just my older age coming out. But I don't see anything wrong with bounce. I think bounce is gonna always be that New Orleans sound that's for New Orleans, that's about New Orleans, that resonates with New Orleans. It don't matter who come and do it. We don't need a goddamn French Montana. We don't need none of these people to do no damn bounce. Like, we don't need it. It just sounds weird. Like, they didn't really need Drake to do it. You know, it's good for the people who...
We didn't need Drake to do it, but
I'm going to give Drake to... I was about to say, we didn't need it, Drake to do it, but he did it, and they didn't rip it off like we thought.
I think Drake really put it worldwide. Like, Drake took it to countries that we probably
wouldn't, right.
So, you know, you got to give Drake a credit.
That's why I'm like, we didn't need him to do it, but he did it, and he did great with it. And it didn't transcend to where people tried. They tried, but I think by it being so cultural, it's hard for it to transcend over if it's not a New person.
And like every time, usually when it hits, you know, the world, it's usually watered down. It's not our bounce really. So we still should be happy for them, you know, showing love.
I'll take the showing love. It's just we got in small bits and pieces, small bits and pieces.
Well, let's get into, you know, if the G.I. Peachez story.
Okay.
So, like for a person who, you know, actually never gave, you know, if your music no chance, like kind of explain if your type of style of music.
So my type of music I like to say is raunchy, but it's still hard and it's still like down south. So when you think of artists like Mia X, you think of artists like Gangsta Boo, you think of artists from that time frame like Memphis, Tennessee, down south New Orleans girls. I still bring that vibe. Like my voice is harder, my voice is a little bit rougher, and I still bring that sex appeal, but I'm still like put some respect on my name. So it's not so much watered down as like city girlish. Like I still do sexy music too, but I really like to stick to the bars. Like I'm really about the bars and the bars knocking people out. Like I like to fight people through my verses.
Gotcha. So, you know, do you have any brand new like music out?
So my new project-ish just dropped in September. It's 10 tracks. It's all different feels. I got some stuff from Nayu on there. Rest in peace to Nayu. I got some stuff. A lot of it comes from Petrowski. Petrowski is from the UK. So he was actually doing beats during the time when they were going through the war with Russia. He's done a lot of my project. I got some.
Get him down here, man. I didn't even tell his story.
We got to get him here. Because I couldn't believe it. Like, they was like, he in the hut right now, still producing tracks, hiding from
bombs and missiles. He got to hear that story.
He was still making them. So I was like, man, I got to spend money with him this particular time because I know how it feels to be displaced and to be going through like not a war, but Katrina is our war. Money. Yeah, and he needed that money at that time for his family, to feed his family.
Yeah, you mentioned Katrina, you know.
Yeah, Katrina.
So your brother died 2 years prior before Katrina.
Yeah, before.
So like, okay, speaking on, you know, people not showing love, taking care, looking out, and everything like that. How was you and your mom's hurricane on that Katrina experience?
So for us, my mom has always, I told her that the other day, it's funny you asked that, because I told her that the other day, and I don't think we give our parents a lot of credit. Because during those times, I was in 10th grade, like I was a sophomore in high school. And my mom, they just made it flawless. Like it didn't seem like we were really going through anything until you got into like the schools. And that's when you notice people treated you different. But at home, it was like a normal situation. They made sure we had a house. She made sure we had food. She made sure I still could have went to the store and bought clothes like we weren't going through anything. Like I'm a parent now and I couldn't imagine adjusting myself, my brain to just, you know, think about what we going through, how you gonna go home, about your house, all these things, and still making your child life seem normal as hell. So like for Hurricane Katrina, we went to Houston, and I remember so vividly when we was looking for my AT because they stayed back, and we had to go to the Astrodome to look for them because we couldn't, you know, nobody's phones was working or none of that. And I remember seeing the people, like it just, like I thought about it the other day, and it was like they had people throwing clothes out of car windows like we were animals. Like we were gonna pick the clothes up like we were homeless. Like we're displaced. Like we had a house.
They really treated us like
they really treated us like like trash. They would call us refugees when you went to the school because these are the refugees.
I never even heard of like when I heard of refugee, I thought of like the Fugees until they said it on, you know. Like, you know, I'm like, I see.
We pull it up to the school, they like, because these the refugees. My mama put one of them ladies in their place in the office. She was like, no, we not refugees. We're not refugees. We had a house. We have a home to go. We just can't go back to our home right now.
But I think that's why Katrina gonna always be one hell of a story. Because it was the way that America treated
treated us like we were not human. Like, people think when they talk about Black Lives Matter and all that, how they act like they don't know how to treat black people. Shit, been around for Katrina, you would have seen it firsthand how they treat black people. Them people was throwing clothes out the window like we was homeless. I went to school, and a girl was like, hey, you know, I know you from New Orleans, you know, I don't have much food that I could give you, but I could give you a couple pack of noodles. And I was like, bitch, we getting food stamps over here. We eating we eating red beans, white beans, and hot sausage. Like, we could give y'all some food. Like, I don't want no noodles. Like, I don't want canned food, bitch.
And with the media, if the media treated us like we was some kids on Africa, like the kids and adults, like we was some African kids needed.
Like, we needed help bad. Like they
and like we did need help, but we didn't need the help that they was trying to offer.
I remember that was George Bush mama. She dead today. I hope she in hell. When she said, "Cause this the best they ever lived." Bitch, you think a cot the best we ever lived? You think in a Astrodome on a cot? Yeah, this the best some of these people ever lived. Like, what you mean, man? We had houses, we had beds. Like, you know what I'm saying? So don't God bless her dead, bitch. Roll over and die again, bitch.
God, dog. So how you felt with Kanye West? Actually said what he said.
I think that was the moment that I just was like, wow, that was the most comic relief moment after all that. Because, you know, we was all stressing. We watching the news. I think that was the laugh. That was probably the first laugh I had when he said that. And it was true.
Like, when he said it, I feel like he the only person cared.
I was about to say, it was true. It was absolutely true. And you know it was true how fast they switched that. I ain't never seen the TV screen go away that fast.
But the crazy part is people don't realize, like, if you was any type of way of being a kid for Katrina, you didn't really realize what's going on.
No.
Like, I didn't realize my mama didn't give me no FEMA money, no red card. I feel like my mom like, wait, I realized, I was like, my mama jacked me, giving me the little $50. Man, you got buku money for me.
Yeah. Katrina, you didn't realize it. I think now that we're adults and we see it and you just realize, like, damn, we really was going through it. Like, we really was going through it, but it still didn't seem like, you know, we was pulling up to the schools and stuff, but we still pretty much lived a normal life. We just wasn't at our homes. Right. But I definitely would never forget Katrina.
But we don't, you know, this is something else. Like, New Orleans actually forgive and don't really say too much, but like, New Orleans, but we don't forget how they treat us. Like the crazy part is, we gotta be out of our mind moving back to New Orleans. Because the same thing could probably happen again, and you already know how they gonna treat us.
Well, I think we just love New Orleans that much, and like, we love New Orleans, and then nobody treated us like Houston. I wouldn't say I was grateful when they went through what they went through, but I think everybody in America now is going through what we went through. And now, you know, they want sympathy and they want all this, but y'all didn't give us that. So God circling the block on y'all ass. If anytime they have hurricanes all the way in New York, God circling the block on y'all ass and showing y'all how y'all treated other people. And y'all were not very kind. Y'all were not very nice. Y'all were not anything like that. Y'all treated us really, really, really like we were the bottom of the ground, like underneath a motherfucking shoe. And now y'all got to go through the same thing. So y'all need FEMA too. And they ain't got no motherfucking money to give y'all.
So I'm going to ask you the last thing about Katrina. Like, do you think, like, you know, but Katrina was real. And before I say this, you know, Katrina did come. It was real. But do you think that they blew up like the levees?
I don't trust the government. I'm going to go with yeah.
I'm gonna
go with yeah because I don't trust the government. Like, I know people that was at home and it wasn't until they heard that loud boom, the waters just started coming everywhere. Like, people was literally chilling. Like, we on the phone with my cousin and they like, we sitting outside on the porch right now. Y'all went all the way out there for nothing, ha ha ha. And then, like, probably the next day they said they heard a loud boom and just water just came out of nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? And even if it didn't happen where they knocked the levees down, they still didn't do the right infrastructure to where it could have withstood the water that was coming. So you still wronged us even where it went. You still wronged us.
Yeah, but I graduated in 2005. When I first saw all that water come in the city, I didn't think it was real. I got like, I see, is this really real? Like, it took me to go back. Here. No, I wasn't here. I was out of town, but when I saw it on the news, it looked like a water
all I remember. That's like, all I remember, waking up in the morning and peeking my head up over the hotel bed and seeing that picture of that stop sign, and the water was way up to the stop of the stop sign. I will never forget that on Canal Street.
When I saw the water and how it surrounded Superdome, I knew it was real. But I'm like, is this like?
Man,
it still didn't. In my mind, like, this can't be real.
My cousin's truck was just floating in the look. We was like, girl, look at we were watching it on the news. I said, girl, look at your van. Her van was floating away because they bought it back around there to go to the Superdome. And it was going down the street. I couldn't believe it. When they said we couldn't go back home, I just couldn't believe it.
All right. So now I got to speak on when y'all went back home. This is, we going to make this interview with the story of G.I. Peachez. So y'all went back home, New Orleans really was on like a Soulja Slim wave. Like,
right.
The Soulja Slim daiquiri.
Everything.
People wearing the Soulja Slim chains. It kind of waiting for Katrina, like, making people know you from New Orleans. You had like something from Soulja Slim on it. So like, how did you feel when you seen all that and different things like that? And like, also, how did your mom feel? Because you was around your mom.
Right. So for me, I always like, that's why people be saying things like, oh, for a very long time, people didn't never know I was Soulja Slim's sister. Because I always played the background. Like, when I went to school, like, somebody else had to tell somebody else. Like, I had friends who I've been friends with for years, and they never knew. We
were drinking together for like a whole year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shout out Tamara. Tamara told me. Remember Tamara?
Yeah.
And Tamara said, you that Soulja Slim sister? I said, she ain't never said nothing.
I never, like, my friends, we had been friends all high school. And when the people, they'll be like, y'all know that's Soulja Slim sister. And they'd be like, no.
If you kept that tuck for a long time.
Yeah, because
So it kind of be funny to me, because me being around you, where you be clapping back at people now, because because for the longest, you didn't even tell me you were Soulja Slim's sister. So now when you be clapping back on it, I'm like, dang, it's a whole other person.
It just transcends differently. But yeah, I never told people. I just always lived my life like I wanted to be separated from that, because I never wanted people to want to be my friend because of who I was kin to.
Right.
Like, I always wanted people to be genuine with me because of who I am. Like, my personality, like, people like me first for who I am. Like, when we met, like, it's me first. And then after that, once they find that out, then of course they might like me a little more, or you might not like me a little more. But being with my mama during that time, it was like, that's around the time when slow motion was really, really picking up. People were driving in the cars playing it when we came back to the city. Like, it was just that time frame where everything that looked like my brother touched was gold. Right. It was gold.
And so let's bring it back, till when, slow motion came out and everything like that. Because, like, people don't really get these backstories. Like, did y'all receive any, money from that slow motion? Did y'all get royalties?
So I really don't want to touch on that subject, because that's something that we're legally
still fighting.
Yeah, we're legally fighting. But basically, slow motion was never signed off on by my brother. So they basically like forced work for hire and like got his manager to sign off on it. So like my brother like didn't get nothing. Like they like forged a work for hire for him. So like when that song was #1, none of that, like, that's why I tell people, like, I don't care about none of y'all. Like, fuck y'all. Like, y'all did my brother wrong. Y'all did my brother so wrong. So wrong when it came to slow motion, because he was not here. And to get somebody else to sign off on it and, give away his rights, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's so wrong. But God sit high and look low, and I just feel like one day what's for him is going to come back to him, and it's going to circle the block. And if God say the same and we get the legal counsel that we will get his money for slow motion, because it was just stolen from him. Like, they forged the whole work for hire. So it's like they sold all his rights off. Like, he don't got no rights. Like, even though the song going #1, he get nothing from it.
Okay, so far as like, the prior music before that, before slow motion came out, like I'm talking about, No Limit music and his like independent music with Cops. Like, did y'all see any any like income from them?
Just recently.
Okay.
So it took I had to jump over barriers. Like the contacts I had to make, people probably know my name for fucking just that alone. Like to get with these people just to track down his money. And that's why I be like nobody didn't try to help my mama. Like nobody didn't try to sit her down to try to make sure she got what was for her son, because they was all eating. Right. When they was all eating, it was fine. But
yeah, cause Soulja Slim CDs, I'm pretty sure like his sales went crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
and now
you
like
sell more
like,
when you die. You sell more when you die.
Yeah.
You know, and like now it's not CDs no more. It's streaming. So like the money a little lower. So you kind of don't know where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that's what my thing is like. Dang, but y'all know he got a family. He got a sister, a son. Like nobody really cared to like.
Nobody didn't care to sit down to get his. Nobody didn't care. I went to college and I went to learn as much as I could learn about it so I could help my mama. And then when I graduated from college, and like now that's what I do. Like I have to send emails. I have to send all these things to try to see just where his money is and make sure things is correct on BMI, like for him, like, because that was all incorrect. And now we like pulling down, we had to pull down so many things off Apple Music, like DJ Dow Jones, fuck DJ Dow Jones. We had to pull down, we got to pull down Thug Brothers. Like we can't even put the correct catalogs up because all these fake catalogs that's up. So I've been working with people, we've been pulling those down, and once they all down, then we going back in and we'll give you, the only thing that should be up is Give It to Him Raw, and years later, a few months after. So we got to go back in and put Streets Made Me and all the rest of the albums back up, but we got to get the other ones pulled down first.
So I'm gonna say this, like what's your message to the people that like was actually receiving so much income off your brother and like didn't even reach out to your mom? And because I know it was bigger than you, and there's a reason why you're saying most of these things, like how you feel, like because you feel like if some of this money should be coming back to to your mama, because like if I heard your mama say something on like the homicide, if your brother used to like bring some money back to her, and like sometimes when like things be bad, she but she still held it down.
Right. So my mama, like I said, my brother loved my mama. Like when my brother was 26 years old, when he got his rap deal, when he was 25, my brother didn't do like most rappers do, go buy a chain, go buy this. My brother bought my mama a car and bought my mama a house, right? So my mama still got that house. And it's just making sure it's, when somebody been living somewhere for a while, you got to make sure that house is together, because that's what your people left you. So I just try to chase the money back for her so she could do what she need to do. And I just want to say to them that payback's the bitch.
And people even think about that, if this lady still had bills, she's like, y'all, you basically stealing from her.
You stole from her. You stole from her because none of that money went to her. It went to their pockets. Like it went to them. Like that was my mama money. Like y'all, my mama wouldn't sign off on Slow Motion because she just didn't feel like, at that time, that's when he had just died. So my mama wouldn't sign off on Slow Motion. And for you to go behind her back and get Anthony Murray to sign off on it, and then catalog it as your song, that's just different. And
so have you ever had a conversation with him?
I don't really deal with them people. Like, I don't really like rude people. So I don't do well. Like everybody who know me know I don't do well with rude people. So I leave people to where they stand. I think it's a legal stance at this point. I mean, it's not so much him, it's Cash Money, it's universal, it's bigger than that.
Because so many people probably feel the way you be coming on these interviews and different things. Because like I'm trying to like get the the real good narrative and like let people know this is it's a reason why you feel the way you feel, because so many media companies put out certain clips.
Right.
They don't put it like the full how it is. They gonna put it out how they won't put it.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you know me, I come from a good place. I don't come from a place of hatred. I don't come from a place of embarrassing people. I just want what's for my brother to be what's for him. Like, I just want him to get what's his. Like, I feel like a person that dedicated their whole life to music. My brother been doing music since he was like 11 years old. Like, and to be coming up on 20 years and other people could build a house from the ground up off money from you, that's different. That's different. That's a different type of hurt. So you will never understand my pain because you ain't never had to go through this type of pain and watch your people be stolen from.
Right. And like also, you know, yeah, but I know, you know, I have a relationship with him. I'm pretty sure he gonna say it like that. He ain't tripping, but like, what y'all really kind of took from his son. Like, you know, it's probably a reason why he had to move how he moved.
You see what I'm saying?
Because
nobody want their child to be in the streets like they had to be in the streets.
Right.
And y'all prevented that man child from, you know, getting the life that he wanted for him. Like, he was still here for a lot of my life. So I still got the chance to live in a big house. And, you know, my mama we went from walking to school in a rented house to getting dropped off at school and having a big house. Like, so I still got to enjoy some of the moments that he was here with us and we were lifted up to that place. I still got to see him build a studio in a house and things of that nature. Like, so I still got to see a lot of those things. Like, but you robbed, like, my nephew of a different life that he wouldn't have to live. He wouldn't be going to jail and all these type of things and people shouldn't want to see somebody's child go through those type of things.
Right. Well, I'm gonna try to close it out with this right here. Like, do you, like, far as, you know, like New Orleans, like, far as, like, the strong, like, hip-hop of, you know, at the essence of it, ever, would you like to see one on a hip-hop, museum in New Orleans? Like, with all the artists that, like, actually, you know,
I would. I think
would you and your mom actually sign off on some, you know, it was some Soulja Slim, like, you know, and like throwback jersey, wool, or something like that, and put it in there?
If it was to come, I think we would be participating in it, but the Soulja Slim Museum probably come before that. But I think we would participate because he's a large part of hip-hop culture of New Orleans. Like, you can't mention New Orleans hip-hop without bringing up his name. So we would definitely participate in it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If how popular Soulja Slim is, I would have thought that the Magnolia would have named one street behind him because he represented.
I don't know. Maybe they coming up with it. You just never know.
Coming soon, huh?
Maybe it's coming soon. You just never know what might come when it comes to Soulja Slim. And if I keep doing things, handling business, you never know what might come.
Gotcha. And last but not least, tell the world, I'm like, what can they find you at on social media and everywhere else?
So I am G.I. Peachez. You can find me at The Project Barbie. That's DAPROJECT BARBIE. And that's going to be like everywhere. Or just G.I. Peachez. If you Google G.I. Peachez, all of it's going to come up.
All right, we done.